So how are you doing today, Natalie?
I'm great. How are you?
I am wonderful. I see that you are not in any fruit costume today.
Not
Um,
today. No, that's only for money. I don't do it for free. So
oh, okay, so you don't dress up as a banana in your free time
not day to day.
then. Okay, so let me ask you, have you seen Marathon? Because I talked to Jimmy right before you and he has not seen it yet.
I have not either. No, I've heard random things from friends who have seen, some footage from it, but I haven't seen it.
So I guess before I dig into questions about Marathon, I spoke with Jimmy who plays Ed Clapp.
Mhm.
He was telling me that he actually took improv lessons from you. And
Absolutely.
yeah, he was saying, I think, is it in Vegas
Mhm.
that he was saying you took classes and that you were told you to tell me to tell you hi and that you're incredible. And he's like, oh, I forgot she was in this movie. Yeah, she taught me this and taught me this. And I was like, wow, yeah, he really
Mhm.
likes you. So now you got big shoes to
Yay.
fill. You have to be as interesting as he made you seem.
No pressure. Jimmy is a really interesting person. So for him to call anyone interesting is, I don't even know how that happens. Like
Well, let's see
that's
if you can live up to it. I,
great.
I want to know then about Marathon. Let's start digging into that. Were you approached with the role or did you audition?
I auditioned. And it was through, since I was training at teaching at an improv school at the time here in Vegas. They kind of sought us out as community actors and improvisers, and so I did go in for the role. I will embarrass myself by saying that I'm a little older than the role was written for. And so I came in stumbling over myself with Keith and Anthony, who are amazing and sweet and awesome. And I just kept going, I'm a little old for this. So, it's fine if you don't see it. And they're like, just read it. It's fine. Like you're great. So the audition, I left feeling like I was crazy, like I had come off as a crazy person.
Did you audition? So you initially did audition for
Yeah,
Jenna then.
I
Did,
did. Yeah.
okay. Did you know that it was going to be a banana costume and that and did you have to wear it in the audition?
No, I didn't have to. They were clear about it. It was very obvious in the script that most of my time was going to be spent in that costume. Um, I I think that they talked about it a lot in the audition, if I remember well. Like I think that they were like, yeah, we're definitely gonna have, but I also know that they reacted to my height because I'm 5'2". And I think there was a little bit of concern that the costume would like overwhelm me, and it absolutely did. It was huge.
That's what I was going to ask next. I was going to ask if they had the costume before you or if they had gotten it to kind of fit you because it seemed like, it's a little big on you, but it's also a huge banana costume. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure like how much bigger than you it was with you actually being inside it and how much like camera magic may have like made it seem like it fit you.
The costume was built for a normal sized human, and it doesn't. So I'm 5'2". I'm less than like 120 pounds. I'm a compact person, and so the banana. Like I remember, I think there were a lot of apologies when I put it on the first day. The first day I filmed it, they were like, "Sorry," and it's Vegas, and it was May, and just like sliding into the 100-degree weather, and so I'm wearing this huge thing, coated in makeup, having to run around a high school track.
And this was before COVID, right?
Yes, this was long before COVID, so no concerns there. But yeah, it was just insanely hot and styrofoam. The costume feels, it's foamy. It's a foam costume. So
Well, did you initially know that there were going to be two bananas when you had auditioned, or is that something that you kind of learned after you got on set and it's like, oh, we have a doll banana and you got this bigger storyline now. You're not just running in a costume. Is that
I
something that
didn't.
you had auditioned for in the beginning, or did it kind of get sprung on you as you went to film?
Yeah, they sent me the script right after I got the role, and I remember reading through it and being like, "Oh, the banana thing's a thing. Like this is like an ongoing bit in the movie." Because at first it was just kind of a throwaway, like you run a marathon as a banana, like it's a thing you want to do. But yeah, I didn't know it was going to be like
A whole
a major
storyline.
thematic point in the movie.
I thought that was I thought it was hilarious,
Mhm.
and I want to know, with 100-degree weather, how how did you manage to stay in the costume? Like, did they have fans on set? Were they doing anything to try to keep you cool? Were you just staying hydrated? And how
Uh,
much running did you actually have to do, without them, making it seem like you were doing more?
so they were very kind and they were very careful with me. Like they didn't want to upset the talent. So and I've done so much like theater and I've done so much like random comedy videos and things that being on this being a real movie set felt like it felt very luxurious because they were always after me with water. They were always they had like a big light reflecting shade over me to like try to keep me cool. I am a certified personal trainer, so the running was fine in theory, but of course the 100-degree with a banana costume is additional. So not like I've ever trained for that, but yeah, they were like they were extra uh caretaking, I think, with the heat and everything.
So it's funny to me, because personally, once we had done a run for charity when I was younger. I worked at a mall at a Great American Cookies, and they have this big cookie costume. And so for the charity, I ran around them. It was just a mall. It wasn't a marathon, but around the mall in this big cookie costume. And so when I saw you in the banana, I was like, oh my God, I know this pain. I understand what she's
Yeah.
going through. Like, how much were you sweating inside from where, so I'm bald. When I sweat, you can just see it. When my beautiful fiance with all her hair sweats, it just kind of mats inside her hair. So, like, with your face just being in the front of the banana, we can't really tell how drenched you are or how hot it is in the costume. So was it were you soaked? Was it like with the weather it kind of had you really uncomfortable, or was it because you said the shade and everything? Did it kind of balance that out for you?
Vegas is dry, so that's fortunate. Like everyone's like, oh, 116 is dry, but it really is. Like it actually does make a difference where the sweat just kind of flits away. I'm not a huge sweater, so I'm lucky for that. However, this is where things get weird is as a girl who's worn bangs most of my life, when my hair is naturally very curly. When the bangs get wet, everything gets weird. So they had to like keep combing my bangs and like kind of keep like that dry. And then my makeup, like I don't wear makeup in real life. I only wear makeup for stage and film, and that's it. And so the makeup felt really gross. Like that was the thing that had to keep like reapplying powder to keep things matte, not oily. And I had to always wear long sleeve running shirts because they didn't want my tattoos to show. So they were like, Jenna doesn't have tattoos. I'm so sorry. So I was wearing like black long sleeve shirts the whole time as well.
Uh, that's even worse. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So I got there's a part where instead of a piece of spaghetti, you and the other banana share a banana in
Mhm.
a kiss. Was that just one take where you guys came to kiss with the banana and the banana in your mouth, or did you have to do that multiple times? And can you kind of tell me what that was like? Like, how did you manage to not laugh and handle yourself in that?
So Roberto's a professional. He was very good, but the that fortunately, I suppose, it was one take, and it was less. It was very, I think, dramatically written in the script, I think, and it became a little bit less dramatic when it happened. And I'm pretty sure there was a limit on the bananas on set. So, like, I don't know that there was a whole bunch just waiting there for retakes on this thing. So it was really just get it done. This banana's really ripe, like it's very brown. So just get through it and we'll call it. So yeah, it was kind of just in a series of other bits that we filmed.
That's hilarious. Now, did you happen to do any of, I mean, obviously you did shooting with, a lot of your scenes were done with, I think, did you say Roberto?
Roberta, yeah.
The other banana.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did you do any of the were you on set for any of the things that you weren't actually being filmed for? Like, were you helping coach the other actors, like improv wise, because of your skills, or were you not really involved behind the scenes at all?
Not really behind the scenes, no. I was just there for my main shoots, and then the it was really fun because towards the end of the process we had the kind of big marathon shoot day, literally and figuratively marathon shoot day, where everyone got to be together. So that was like, I think that was the only day Jimmy and I were on set at the same time. So it was really fun to like have that big day where we were all at the finish line shooting that part where everyone's like, "Oh my God, I forgot you're in this," And so it was fun to get to work with people like kind of all at once on that one day.
And you guys, I think Jimmy said you guys shot it all in Vegas.
Yeah.
So you, I think he said you guys started filming in 2018, and I know it was all done before COVID.
Mhm.
Was it something where you had a short shoot time, like in a couple of weeks, or was it something that you had to come back on and do additional takes and things like that later in post?
For me, it was just the quick shoot. I think it was over the course of about a month or two, 6 or 7 days total for me. And they were just like I said, Keith and Anthony were so good about. I'm really impatient with film. I like theater because you're in and out. Like it's 2 hours and it happened and it's over and you're going to do it again tomorrow. But with film, I get really impatient and I'm just like sitting there like, how long do lights take everybody? As an actor, I'm a bad film actor as far as my attitude goes. And so it was really nice how professional they were and how efficient they were with the actual shoot. So I didn't have to come back to do anything. I don't know if anyone else did.
Well, with your love for theater, your experience in theater, and your profession as an improv teacher, is that something that kind of makes it easier for you to get things done in one take? Or is it something where it's harder because you're improving and doing your own things to where they're like, well, that's not exactly what we wanted? Is it some more of like you just kind of read it off, you get it done because you're used to theater being go? Or is it something where your other side of your brain, where your improv is like, oh, well, this would be funnier. This might be a little bit better based on your techniques as an improv teacher? Sorry, that was a
So
really weird question, but
no, it's a great question. And I think that it might be a surprise. The answer might surprise you because I think that my improv background tells me that was amazing and it can't be recreated. That's it. Like that was the moment and we were all here and it happened. Whereas I think people maybe who are more comfortable in theater, or I mean in film, more of a film background might be like, well, we could do a thing a little bit differently. So I think as an improviser, I'm more of a one take person. But again, like Keith was he and Anthony trusted us so much, especially the improvisers they cast, to play and have fun and they let us like find the right thing more than they told us what the right thing was, which was really cool. So there were definitely, because it's a mockumentary style movie, there were a lot of times where Keith was like, okay, well, finish the line and then just keep going and we'll see what happens. And we didn't take like a million takes like that, but it was really fun to be able to do that.
that's awesome, especially with having the ability to where people, the creators behind the scenes, can put their trust in you to just
Yeah.
handle that. That's awesome. You with your um sorry, I blanked on the question I was going to ask because your answer was so, it just was great. I wanted to
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if you had done any other changes to the character of Jenna. Like you had mentioned that it was initially written as a younger role. Was there anything else that kind of got altered or changed a little bit for your portrayal of her other than just the age?
I think uh maybe because she on paper the character is like kind of this sort of type A, always in control, very kind of formal, clean cut kind of person. And then I wasn't wearing my glasses obviously in the movie, and so I have my bangs and I have my glasses and I have my tattoos and so I look a little different, I think, than Jenna is portrayed on paper. And so I think maybe my Jenna was a little quirkier than what they wrote initially, as sort of a just like clean cut kind of, I'm a 9 to 5 person, but I'm going to go do this weird marathon thing. So yeah, I think there was a little bit more of me in it.
I know you haven't seen the film, so I'm gonna not to spoil anything, but I think out of all the characters, Jenna's really interested me because her arc actually leads to kind of a resolution for what she was out there to do in the first place. With everybody else, like there's so many things that happen and like you don't expect things to go, how they went. I feel like Jenna had the most like complete as far as like she got to do what she was setting out to do. And is that something where like you know how it ends for everyone because you had read the script, or you mostly just kind of know what happens with your character and Roberto's, I guess?
Yeah, I would agree with you, not having seen it, but having been there and reading the script, that hers was the most important story to tie up, I guess, because she had a goal, she had reasons for the goal, there were stakes in it. It got messed up by the second banana, and then in the end, it was resolved. And I think the biggest point in the movie for me, spoilers, is that her parents are involved too. Is that and again, I don't know how much made it into the final cut, but I knew the woman who played my mother in the movie, and she's hilarious. She's a really, really wonderful improv actor here in Vegas as well. And it was personal for me because I have my own like accomplishment complex with my own parents, and so to have her have that same thing happen, I think the biggest point in the movie for me was her parents were there when she accomplished her goal.
Right. And they were, I think there's at least 3 scenes where both the parents are in it, at least 3 or 4. So
Okay.
a lot of that made into the film, both the father and the mother. Now before, can I ask, what was it that made you want to follow improv? Like, obviously you like acting, you enjoy theater, but you kind of have multiple passions all in the same realm. To go to the past before you started to follow entertainment as a career, what was it that kind of initially sparked your passion to go lead yourself down the road to Vegas?
So I started out, I went to the University of Florida, and I was going to be a therapist. That was my major, was psychology. But I secretly wanted to be a stage actor because I had been stage acting since I was like 5 years old, and I had done, community theater, and I had done theater camps, and I had done theater all through high school. And so when I got to college, I was like, okay, so this is my major, but I'm going to keep taking these other classes kind of secretly. And so I took an improv class, which at the University of Florida is a really big deal because they have the largest collegiate improv group in the country. And so I didn't know that going in. And I took the improv class, and I feel like days in, I was just like, this is amazing. Why isn't everyone in the world doing this? And which is a lot of reaction to improv. Like people, it's a high, it's engaging, it's intense. You think theater people are dramatic and close to each other, like improv people bond so quickly, and improv affects every facet of life. And so I went all in, and I moved to Chicago right after college and started work for the Second City in Chicago and for Comedy Sports Chicago and IO Chicago, which are all the biggest theater names there. And it's very difficult to pursue a career in improv specifically, but there's so many improv adjacent careers like stage acting and other non-performance things. But improv is the like one thing that ties everything together. Like I said, I'm also a personal trainer, and I've done that kind of adjacently as well over the last few years. And I use improv there too. And I, it's weird when you ask, when anyone asks, why do you do improv? It feels to me like you're asking me why I breathe or drink water or eat, because I'm like, because you have to, because everyone has to. So that's, yeah. So then I ended up kind of a long story, even longer, is that I worked in Chicago for several years. I had two young children. We moved here to Las Vegas because my parents live here, and having young children with your parents around is helpful. And opened an improv theater here, and have been, teaching and coaching sort of ever since. The COVID was a bump, obviously, in the road, but yeah, I will do improv my whole life, despite its challenges, money wise and time wise. Like, I will be doing it forever.
So that was an amazing answer that encapsulated a ton of the things I wanted to know.
Great.
But kind of also led me to realize that Jimmy and you both are Chicago Vegas. Like, he's from
Yeah.
Chicago, went to Vegas, went back to Chicago, went back to Vegas. So it's such a wonderful coincidence.
Mhm.
I you kind of led me to wonder, though, for film actors, people who you like are usually focused just on doing film roles, do you feel like they have a stigma against improv or live theater? Or do you feel that a lot of the actors that you've worked with are um, open to getting those things and receiving those things to help improve their performances?
I think it's highly misunderstood as an art form, improv is, because number one, it wasn't developed as an art form. I won't launch into my lecture of history of improv, but short story is that it was developed as a tool for theater, specifically for children's theater. And so it's great to be used as a tool. It's great to be applied to things, and it's great for actors. But I feel like actors have, you use the word stigma correctly, I think, because actors definitely have this sort of like looking down on improv, some, not all, but looking down on improv as, well, that's just not learning lines, or that's just games, or that's just being silly or trying to be funny. And it's the opposite of all of those things. It is not lazy. It is not just jokes by any means. Like, improv was not created for comedy. It's a byproduct, that it's funny. But it is so valuable to, like, it's gotten to be more widely accepted as valuable to film actors. In fact, many of my friends, so Chicago's not the hub for film by any means, but it is. I have a lot of friends in Chicago who make a living doing, there's TV shows shot out there, and everything, and a lot of commercials. And the mantra, like, throughout the 90s and early 2000s, was every film actor's agent was like, go take improv, go take improv, go take improv, so that you can learn how to not just be reactive in the moment. It's not just for the skill. It's for actually like changing your personality. It's for like making you a more flexible person, not just in front of a camera, but to make you more connected to other humans, and to make you more aware of how you look and feel and sound to other people. So it's not even just about the performance value of it. It's more about the whole being of it.
I love your passion. It's obvious that you're a teacher, because the way that you explained it, I think, is amazing, because it really feels like improv is a building block that is kind of the base. And, these other things that people are doing, and they're looking down on it, it's like, you're using improv, you just might not be using it to the best of your ability because you're looking down on it. And I think that that's
Yeah.
amazing. You definitely opened my mind. So I think
Thank
that
you.
that's a great profession for you. Before I wrap, I always like to give people a little platform to say anything they'd like to say, whether it be about marathon, whether it be about promoting your own classes or anything else you have going on, or even just social media. I always like to, once I've rambled on, I like to give you a little chance to say what you actually want to say, and not just what I want to hear.
Thank you. I have a lot of political statements to make. I don't, and I won't. I
I was
do,
gonna
but
say,
I
yeah, well,
won't.
go for it.
I have statements to make, but I'll hold off. First of all, thank you so much. This has been a really fun conversation to have. I'm excited to see Marathon for the very first time, along with most of the public. So I'm really excited for that to be coming out so soon. I would also, because I am so excited and passionate about improv, will point you to Vegas Improv Power, which is my company here in Vegas. My partner Ryan and I founded it a couple years ago to sort of focus on applying improv to life, business, education, social groups, that kind of thing. But of course, everything changed with the pandemic, and we don't have an official physical space, but we've spent the last year doing improv online, which sounds insane, but actually works really, really well. And we're transitioning back to in-person classes really soon. So that's exciting. So our website's vegasimprovpower.com. We are on all the social medias as Vegas Improv Power on Facebook and Instagram specifically. And yeah, I would encourage everyone in the world to, number one, see Marathon, watch the movie, and number two, if you haven't explored improv, this is the time to do it, because it's everywhere. Because it's having it be available online means that you can take a Second City class that's in Chicago, but you're in Tulsa. Like, you know, you don't have to be in Chicago or in LA or in Toronto to be taking those amazing classes, or to be taking our Vegas Improv Power classes. So, so find improv for your life is my big statement to make, and see Marathon the movie.
And I think Marathon comes out July 6th, if I'm not wrong.
That's the date.
So everybody make sure you check that out. And I see you say so many things, and it's like I have a response to one, but then you say like six other things. Oh, I was gonna say the Vegas. I really like that you had mentioned the people can do that online. It's a lot more accessible now, and hopefully will open people's mind because they don't have to go out to somewhere else to do it. I'm definitely going to include the links so for people to try that out. Is there just for people listening who are curious to know, is there like a price of admission? Is there something that you pay like monthly for improv classes through your company, or how does that go?
So classes are we're like in the new world post COVID. We're kind of figuring a lot of new things out. So usually, if we're doing like a series or a level class, 6 weeks is about the time frame we're looking for, about 2 hours a week, and we have like a flat rate associated with that. So it's pretty comparable to like taking any other course, like if you're taking a cooking class weekly, or if you're taking so prices will vary, but they're comparable to kind of any other hobby class that you want to jump into. And then we also offer classes customized to groups. So if you need a class because you manage a company and you want people to communicate better, or if you want a class because if you're a teacher who wants, like we go and do classes over at UNLV, if you're a teacher who wants to introduce this to your classroom, we can do that too. So those kind of things are kind of negotiable based on size and time limits and all of that.